everyone. Welcome to Talk Uncensored. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's been forever since we were live.
It has.
It actually feels like it's been forever since we taped. Like we were so used to doing these. Last season, we probably taped every week, and sometimes a couple times a week, depending on what's going on. This time, I promise, I feel like it's been like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So, welcome to Talk Uncensored. I am your host, Hogan.
I'm Akayshia, Estee.
And we have 2 great people up here with us to talk about our topic. So we always say you guys get to hear our opinions, and our opinions oftentimes match. They don't always match, but even if they don't match, it's pretty similar, right?
Yes.
So we get some opinions of the opposite sex, and a little bit of controversy, but positive controversy. His opinions are just a little different than ours. So it'd be lovely to hear, everyone's different opinions. Plus, there's some stuff I have to be careful because my husband's on, because we're going to be talking about side chicks and side dudes. So it's going to be interesting. So we have, you want to introduce yourself?
Gabriel Lyrics.
And
John Hogan.
so I was going to introduce Gabriel, but he goes by like 5 different names. I was like, I know what you want to say.
Gabriel Lyrics.
Right, so depending on what you're going by, Gabriel Lyrics. All right. So, how you been doing, Kayla?
Good. How you been?
It feels like we ain't seen each other forever.
We haven't. We've both been busy.
We have. But
Every time we
productive.
try to get together,
Yeah. But productive.
it's always something.
Not just busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how y'all doing?
I'm good.
I'm great. I'm tired,
I
but
was just a little tired, but I'm good. Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be tired.
I think the coffee done woke me up.
I can't have no coffee. Oh, who made your coffee?
Ariel at the foundation.
Yeah, so you guys are here at the Foundation Coffee House. So they're drinking some coffee,
Yes.
some Foundation Coffee House. We keep having a request from Gabe to have some peppermint.
Peppermint mocha.
Yes, but we can't find it. So if you know where to find peppermint mocha,
Or the peppermint syrup for them.
yes, there we go. Peppermint syrup from mocha. We would love to hear where we can find that at.
Right.
sounds good. though.
It does sound good.
Never started
It's like
going to
those-
Starbucks.
It's like those chocolate mint thingies. That's
The
what I think about.
Ghirardelli?
Oh, the thin mint.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Oh,
about
the
it.
kid
The
is.
Ghirardelli.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the Ghirardelli?
I don't know what that is.
Ghirardelli is like chocolate on the bottom, and it's like a white chocolate with peppermint bark in it.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Have you had those?
I have. They're quite delicious.
And that's what I think about when
We're
you
not
say
gonna
that.
do
that right.
That's what I
They
think
all
about
right
when you say
to me.
that. So that means y'all gotta get that and break it up with something.
We
We do
do.
in there. Make it pretty.
He doesn't really like them, so we don't.
I didn't say I didn't like them. I said they all
Okay,
right.
so they're so good that if you just say, they're all right, I'm not giving you no more of mine.
Exactly.
They're seasonal. They only come out at Christmas.
They're
So I'm
full
gonna
Like,
waste,
waste my
I'm gonna waste
stuff.
my all right chocolate.
For real.
Right.
Stuff.
Right, exactly.
Get that.
So he was actually trying to steal some of them, but I had to hide my back because
I got
He
it.
wanted something sweet.
Like I said, they all
Don't
right.
just get no candy because don't be trying to grab my stuff just because you want something
it was
sweet.
something sweet. But they're all right. No,
Exactly. No.
these seasonal candies that I can only get at Christmas time. So, all right, guys. So we got 2 great topics today. The first one, we're not going to talk about both of them. I'm not going to tell you both of them. So the first one is defining the role of the side dude, side chick, side piece,
Side individual.
whatever you want to call yourself, himself, herself.
What's
Sneaky link.
Sneaky link.
Yeah, I heard there was some other names for it. I don't. This is how I find out the other words.
What else? What else we got?
Sneaky link.
Sneaky link.
I think you just taught me that, but not too long ago.
Yeah, I had to tell you what that was.
I was the other stuff.
Yeah.
Sneaky link.
Mm-hmm.
And people like being sneaky links.
They do.
People want to
Well,
be.
you know, for me. Oh, if I ain't in no relationship,
You don't
and
mind?
you just, I'm not the side chick.
But she
Because
said
we got a whole agreement. Wait a minute. Skirt, pump the brakes. No, but I don't mind doing this because everybody gotta know. We can be in the same
But
room
is that
and I'm sending a
even-
text message?
Is that a sneaky link though? Because I mean, I get we may be doing our thing, but we're not necessarily in a relationship. But you're not in a relationship, and I'm not in a relationship. I thought a sneaky link was like I got a girl or I got a man, and you my side piece, my sneak piece.
like don't nobody know. Y'all just sitting in the crowd or whatever. Y'all acting like ain't nothing going on. But I just already shot you a text message like 9:03 p.m. We need to be meet me at none of me. That's the sneaky part.
Okay, so I want to hear everyone's opinion on what a side piece's role is. We already know a side piece means, in my thought pattern, you can't have a side piece without having a main piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we already are establishing that you have to have a main piece that's side piece.
Right.
Right. So you're generally the person that's
You can make one.
no, don't say I like macaroni.
Okay, so what do you need to be?
You
Mashed
the greens.
potatoes and
You're the green beans.
the pinto beans.
or something. Lima beans.
Oh, yeah, you're the lima beans.
Yeah.
All right, so what is the role? Now, when I say role, like, because you know they always say everybody has a place,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the place of a side? First of all, what's the whole reason behind wanting a side piece? And of course, that doesn't mean any of us want one.
I know somebody who used to do that.
So
She
it-
was fine with it.
So, but what is the reason? Like, if I
She
am the
said she
person
didn't
who
want the
has the
attachment.
side piece, okay, so she's okay with being a side piece.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want the attachments. I need everything else. Like, no, don't see why.
So can't she just get her sneaky link?
Like her, me, like me. Right.
Well, what happens is, for those people who like to be the side piece, like you said, there's no attachment. And typically what happens is, sometimes, not all the time, if feelings do develop, they can't progress, can't go anywhere. Because this person has a commitment to their main person.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the person who has a main person has whatever type of feelings, they can't put any obligations on that
person.
side person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it gives them that freedom, and then they still get all of the benefits of whatever the agreement is.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have to worry about you calling me, asking me where I'm at in the middle of the night, you know, going out, doing this and doing that. You know, I can just freely do what I want to do. We meet up and do what we're going to do. Almost like prostitution, whether you're a male or female, that's the side piece. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a benefit in exchange for whatever services you're offering. You know, that's the side piece. So,
I mean, that's right. I mean, that was an old girl had told me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. She wasn't mine because I used to be there.
Okay, so in your instance, what do you think? Like, what's the role of the side chick or side dude? Like, is it always sexual?
No, because I mean, no, because she was.
You can get somebody just to have some extra income coming in too. I mean, they can provide
Income?
extra income.
Sugar mama.
I mean, that's still you can have a side piece, and your side piece can be a sugar dad or a sugar mama, you know. And even then with that, it decreases or increases the odds of having any kind of conflict with, you know, just emotional obligation requirement type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you still got to be kind of careful because you have people whose egos get in the way. And they still like, hey, you my side piece, but you know, this is I'm paying you, I'm giving you, you know, I'm handing you, so you're gonna do A, B, C, you know, when I tell you to do it. But
And tend to forget that it's a role. It is a role. Like, but just like
It's a line. I think it's a line that you're not supposed to cross.
So like my thing
I heard
is
that
even in the
boundaries.
sense of a main chick or wife or girlfriend, you still have a role. If your role is this, it means you should be my confidant, you should be my sexual partner, you should be whatever, right? For whatever reasons that we're together, those are the reasons. So I feel like a side chick or a side dude still has a role, right? Like whatever reason that you're here for,
I guess it just depends on what the need of that person is.
and that's what I'm saying.
yeah, it could be emotional,
Yeah.
it could be physical, it could be
Financial.
financial.
It,
Depends on what type of relationship y'all have.
So now let's talk about the people who are already in a relationship and get to side person. Because I'm pretty sure everybody's done it. Yeah, everybody. You never had a side piece though. You never had this yet.
Back in the day.
Okay, so in those times, look, we're not talking about, so you guys not right now. We're just talking about in the past. What reasons, well, not her. What reason, if you already have somebody, what reasons do you need a side piece? Is it generally like you're not being, because I tell you, I know some people who have side pieces and they genuinely have a good thing. It's just they want more.
Well, I always say whenever somebody's in a relationship and they cheat, you're cheating because there's a lack of discipline, or a lack of self-control. Because we can always come up with different reasons and excuses as to the reason why we want to go and do whatever. So some people say, well, I'm lacking, this in my relationship. You might be with somebody and they don't want to give you head, whether it's male or female, and it's like, well, if you're not going to do it, somebody will. That's the going thing. But the thing is, you have to sit down and have a conversation with the person that you're with. And if they're not willing to do certain things that you would like to do, it has to be a compromise. So you have to communicate. If you make a decision that you're going to go out and get whatever you're not getting, you can always fix a list of things as to the reason why, I want to have a conversation at midnight. She never want to talk at midnight. No, she's asleep. She got to be at work at 3 a.m. So I could be like, well, since you don't want to talk to me at midnight, I call my girl who's always up at midnight and have a conversation. Might not be sexual, but it's still a form of cheating because you're using this other person for that emotional, mental attachment because you're not getting it. So basically, at the end of the day, we cheat because of lack of discipline and lack of self-control. The reasons or excuses that we use is it could be financial. You know what I'm saying? Well, you're not making this or making that. I had to go to this person. They was giving me money, offering me money, but it ended up being a transaction of sex. It could be, they say women cheat for emotional reasons. No, you're just a hoe, just like the man.
I almost feel like
the
the women are generally for the financial reasons, and the men are usually for what they're not getting from the woman. Maybe I'm wrong, but I tend to find, at least people that I know, that generally if the women are cheating, it's because they're getting something.
Usually I hear emotional.
I usually hear emotional.
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah.
And
It be like lack
financial.
of emotion or attention.
You wasn't there for me. I needed you.
I heard some
I'm
guys
not
that
like
way
that.
too.
Could
But I
Or
mean,
they're not being fulfilled sexually.
But also, I mean, you can also have people that have family members that teach their men and their family a certain way because
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I had family members that told me like you should have a girl every day of the week and never commit and all that. Like that's what I was taught. So and always coming up, that's what you taught. And I know a couple of other friends that I had that was taught the same way. And I mean, it's wrong, but at the same time, that's your family teaching you. Why are you looking at me like that?
But you know what? I have been told too, like y'all be having male talks, like the older men be telling y'all stuff like that, and it be like either you got common sense to be like, yeah, and you keep on moving, or you just be like, oh, okay, babe.
You
But
almost
it's not
gotta
common sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you almost gotta look at the situation of the person who's telling you, depending on when you say like it's the older male telling you. Because I remember there was the older men in our family that seemed to be the hood guys, like the one with like 17 kids from a whole bunch of different people. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Now they was saying, "Hey y'all, nah, settle down." Yeah, that type of thing. And I know that's not the situation in yours, but I feel like it's not common sense depending on your age and depending on where you're at in your life. I feel like though, just like with anything, and like as you get to a certain age, you learn.
Not necessarily. That's what a lot of people say. They think that age automatically morphs you into being what we supposed to be or what you think life is supposed to be about. But whatever you are trained to do or trained to be, that's what you're going to live up to.
Well,
So
let me
like
ask
you
you
were
this
saying,
though, because in the sense of like, okay, and I'll just say me. There's certain ways that I was trained growing up because this is what I watched my people do. But because I knew what it felt like to go through that type of thing, I decided to do opposite. So I kind of feel like we learn by experience.
But there's always exceptions to the rule. But overall, the things that's instilled in you as a child, that's what you hold on to. Now, there are experiences that could possibly redirect you. But once you make a decision to redirect, you have to, for one, you go through the little grief process. Everything that I've been told is a lie. So whatever I'm 47. There's some things that I still hold on to that I was taught when I was young. So if today I come across some new information, I have to first be like, you know what? I'm not where I'm supposed to be, who I'm supposed to be. I've been told a lie, so I have to relearn, unlearn what I was taught, then relearn. But I have to deny myself. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to keep going in the direction I've always been going in, or do I want to go into this new direction? The unknown is always scary, and people don't always choose the unknown. They just continue in what you was taught. Now that goes to sometimes you do have that fork in the road. Sometimes you don't have that fork in the road because the lens that you're living and operating in is what's true. Mm-hmm. So it's just like with religion, right? Most people, if you're taught being a Christian, you're gonna be a Christian almost all your life. There's exceptions. People switch over to, Islam, Judaism, and all these other things, but most of the time, for the most part, you're going to remain there. If you're brought up as a Muslim, you're going to remain there. Regardless of the different people you come across with different religions, you still know Christianity, so you walk with it. You know Islam, so you walk with it. So that's the same thing with sexuality. If you're taught a certain way that a man is supposed to be this, and a woman is supposed to be that, you're going to try to operate within that, because as a man, I want to live up to what I was told a man's supposed to be. So if I have 10 uncles, 7 of them were hoes, and 3 of them weren't, the majority rule.
I guess my thing with that is, I feel like those same people who are consistently hurting people be the same ones playing victim all the time. Like, are always feeling hurt, or always playing like, well, I've been hurt, or I've been this, or people did this to me. Okay, but so you know what it feels like, but you continue to do it to other people
because they don't know any other way to be.
They choose not to know.
Some people do choose. But overall, if you hurt and you haven't been taught how to heal, how do you heal? Mm-hmm. How do you go through the steps? How do you go through the process of healing? How do you go through the process of being self-aware?
Mm-hmm. Which I feel like that's a choice in everything. Self-awareness, healing, all that's a choice. Because I can fall in the middle of the street and scrape my knee. And I can sit and complain about my knee, or I can get up and go to the doctor. I got to make the choice that, okay, is this worth me going to the doctor? Or am I just going to sit and complain about the fact that my leg?
But you're going to the doctor because it's available and you have been taught and shown that, how many people that's out there in the world who have something broken, some injury that has not been attended to or addressed because either they don't have the means to do it or they don't know how. I mean, it's, for instance, going back to being taught as a man or a woman, right? Mm-hmm. Me growing up, it was taught that the woman does the cooking, she does the cleaning, stay at home, all this other stuff, right? But I had to unlearn and relearn. But there's people who still believe that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is a woman's place right here. This is a man's place right here. Just because they come across other people who think differently doesn't mean that they're going to change their mind. It doesn't mean they necessarily know how to change their mind. And that's all they know. That's what they've been taught. They know how to operate in that productive, what they think is productive.
So y'all saying folks have been taught to be side pieces?
People have. Listen, okay. When you was coming up, did you ever hear there's a lot of fish in the sea?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear this puppy love? You need to date around, all this other stuff. Like middle school, high school, you got your little first boyfriend, girlfriend. They tell you not be serious. There's other fish in the sea. You need to date around. You go to college, they tell you don't settle down. You're too young. You got your whole life ahead of you. They teach us how to
I can tell that.
monogamous. Men and women, we are not taught how to be faithful and committed per se.
Well, I need you to make sure the audience knows that you don't.
I learned that now. But I'm saying what you said is true. That's all I'm saying. But yes.
But it just seems like women just, well, I mean, not, some women, they know how to detach, like they know how to play their side piece, jump back out. Hey, I get what I want, jump back out. But I couldn't do that. I just could not do that. I was just like, oh, yeah, we
I couldn't do the side. So I would say I can't do the side piece, and I can't do the side piece because I wouldn't want someone else to. I couldn't ruin something because I know I'm a committed person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Being the fact that I would be with somebody, and me saying that is basically I'm okay with somebody doing that to my situation. Now, could I do we don't have no connection, you don't have nobody, I don't have nobody? Yeah, I could do it. Yeah, I could do it. I just can't do the side piece. And that's mainly because I am a committed person. So how would I be okay doing that to somebody else, knowing that they all willing to,
I think for me is because if I want what I want at the time, and you're not answering the phone, now I got an issue. That's why
me too.
I can't do no
What you got the phone for?
Because text me back. Let me know. Oh, I mean, is she laying there or something? Like, like for real. Because what?
Right.
If we're gonna be all like blunt, let's be blunt. Hey, I'm laying there. You have to eat it tomorrow.
And then my question too is how are you? Because generally, I can't imagine a side piece, a male or female. Okay, we laid up together. One of us side, and you talking, and all you want to do is complain about your wife. But your wife can't be that bad if you want to keep her. Your husband can't be that bad if you want to stay together.
It's what the dude used to do.
Well, as someone that used to be a side piece, I mean, I would just say, I mean, it's kind of stress-free in a sense, because I don't have no commitment towards you. You have all the commitment in the world. So when I call and you see me calling, I know you probably not gonna answer that first time. Okay, you will. Okay, cool. All right, I know she gonna call in probably like 20.
But what if she don't? What if look, no, this is me and hubby time. Don't call me again. Like, I will call you tomorrow. You know you're
Trust me, she's gonna call in about 20, 30 minutes.
That's not always the case though. Because
Well, in my case, and a lot of other side pieces case, they gonna call because whatever. And I would say at the time I wasn't really searching for anything, or I didn't want nothing at the time. So I didn't really have no kind of attachment or anything trying to, prevent me to get any type of mad or anything like if she didn't.
my thing is, I wouldn't have an issue with the fact that I have an attachment. I can go without the attachment piece. Like, if I'm not interested in attachment, I won't attach. My issue is though, like you, if I text,
Yeah,
like so, I won't even put myself in that situation. But that's what, not necessarily. It's more of like, don't ignore me. Like, but I would do that not even just to a man. Like, my sister. If why you on the phone?
I'm a mama. I don't know. Hey, I'm like that with everybody. Like, hey, I need you to write me back. Hey, it's not a good time. Go to the bathroom or something. Shoot, don't go like this. And put your phone back up, because we're not gonna do that.
So I'm just saying, I know that would be a good role for me.
I can't be no side piece.
Well, because then also there's that piece of like
There's something I can't be no side piece.
Yeah, there's that piece of selfishness. It's like, okay, wait a second. So now, because automatically she's gonna.
But I can do the sneaky link. I can't be no side piece, but I can do the sneaky link.
I mean, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not doing the side piece for one. I'm not gonna mess with nobody else.
Relationship, because don't come think you finna mess up mine. Because now we got an issue. Side piece.
Regardless of that, it's just, there is a lot that comes with it. So even though, like you're saying, it's stress-free, it can be, but
it can be stressful too.
It can be stressful, and there are these things that come along with it that could be, very dramatic and traumatic. And then just for me, just my morals won't allow me to be that dude and you got somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't want to have anybody on the side. I mean, we can be exclusive even if we're not in a committed relationship. You know, and once I say we're exclusive, that's what it is.
That's a committed relationship.
It ain't a committed relationship.
But how being exclusive is not committed though.
Exclusive means I'm not gonna be with nobody
Look
else.
at
But we are committed to what we have agreed to do. So, but we're not in a relationship, meaning that if we decide that we no longer want to continue with what we're doing, we can just go ahead and break it off, and it's not this other extra stuff.
That's I thought that's almost the same now.
It's not the
Like,
same.
if we
Because
just
when you're in a relationship, you're building. You add other elements into a relationship, meaning you get more of who I am, I get more of who you are. If we are exclusively having sex, we just exclusively having sex, meaning I can cuss. I ain't finna go fuck somebody else, and you're not finna go fuck somebody else. Now, if you want to go out
But
on
y'all
a date,
not actually like
if
dating.
you want to go on a date with somebody else, you can. Cool. I've been in that situation.
So when you say exclusive, you gotta say exclusively.
Okay, exclusively.
Because when I think exclusive, I'm thinking
Even if we're exclusively dating, you know, we can exclusively date and not be in a relationship. Again, a relationship means I'm being vulnerable and open, meaning I'm going to give you parts of me that I wouldn't give somebody else. My thoughts, my ideas, my fears, my aspirations, my anxiety. That's what you're getting in a relationship. If we're just dating, you're going to get some surface level stuff. And we can be exclusive while we are dating, but you're still not getting the full person of who I am. Then we can decide that, hey, we're going to date. And the reason why we're exclusively dating is because we don't want the distractions just in case we decide to be in a relationship and build and grow. Now, if we're exclusively having sex, that's all it is. Meaning you're not fucking somebody else, I'm not fucking somebody else, but I might be on a date with somebody else. You might be on a date. Now, if I decide that I want to have sex with somebody else, I'm going to come and have that conversation with you. And be like, hey, somebody else.
So being exclusive means that y'all allowed to have that conversation. But of course, relationship, you can't have that conversation that I want to have sex.
Yeah, you can, you should if you want to, but you're not gonna move on it. In a relationship, we move differently once you decide to either break off from the relationship or
I thought we
decide-
went from meeting, friends, talking, dating, married. We went from meeting, friends, side piece. I'm just thinking there's so many levels.
It is.
There's more levels. Right, there's more levels. I thought we was level. It's level.
Branches.
Stay on the same level right now.
There's levels to this, y'all. Levels, you know? Like, I'm 36, but I'm still learning.
Exclusively having sex, exclusively dating. We might go in a relationship. Let's talk about it. That's still all on one level right there.
It's all one level. So you thought you jumped and you didn't. It's still right
Still
there.
right there.
That may feel a little higher than it was, but it's not. All right, you guys. So we're going to take it to a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about if a woman should propose marriage. This is going to be interesting because we've already kind of talked about this movie. And I'm not proposing to you. So, he wouldn't let me anyway. But we'll talk about that when we get back from this break. We will see you in just a moment.
Talk Uncensored Season 2 podcast has some great additions from special guests, topics, and a live audience.
And we are beyond excited to invite you to our live studio audience. We can't wait to see your reactions and hear your feedback to our topics.
To reserve a seat, head over to talkuncensoredpodcast.com. talking about side chicks, side guys, side individuals, side whatever.
They got a little confusing.
It did. But of course, I'm Akayshia Estee.
I'm April Hogan, and of course we have
Gabriel Lyrics.
John Hogan.
Yeah, and we're about to go into should a woman propose to a man? Ain't that the topic?
yes, because I've actually been seeing a whole lot of posts about it, and some that were all for it. And I actually have a friend that did propose to her husband, and then some that are against it. So we'll kind of go because honestly, I already know your opinion, and I kind of know yours is opposite, which is lovely because you're not on the same side. Okay, so looking at her face. So we're gonna start with you, okay? Should a woman propose marriage?
I mean, is she gonna change his last name?
Gentlemen?
I feel like you say should, and I don't want to play semantics. And I'm not gonna say should, but I'm gonna say she can if she so chooses to.
Because I mean, that's what I guess that's what usually happens if the man get on the knee, then he wants to change your last name, so y'all can become one. But I ain't gonna never do it. But I'm just gonna put me as an example. If I get on my knee, then your last name gonna be Marvin.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a man changing his last name if he so chooses to change his last name for whatever reason. I think what happens, it goes back to when I talk about learning. Oftentimes, we don't take the time out to learn different cultures. All we know is what we've been engrafted with, what we've been indoctrinated with, and we run with it. We don't know the history of what proposal is. We don't know why the man get on his knees. We don't know why the ring. We don't even understand the engagement process and the timing. We don't understand the changing of the last name, none of that stuff. But because we're told this is what it's supposed to be, we go along with it. If somebody comes to show you something new, you're not for it. So that goes back to what he was saying about when he's taught a certain way as a man, that's what he knows, regardless of what age he is. So you're 30 what?
36.
36. All your life you've been told a man's supposed to propose. Now you're seeing women proposing. They're giving their reasons, but you're not willing to change your mind.
So it's my thought.
So,
Because Zoe Saldana, actually her husband, the one who played Zoe Saldana, she played on Takers, she played on the Avatar.
Yeah.
Her husband took her
I know
husband.
you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm not against anybody who does. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. That's what you choose
Hey, me
to
and my
do.
friends do it. I'll be at
I'm
the
just
wedding.
saying, me personally,
I
I probably would not be. And if I did, I wouldn't be on the knee. I'd just be like, "Hey, we getting married."
it's okay for you to stick to your guns. Like, if you believe a man should propose, then that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody else believes a woman can or a woman should, that's cool too, in my opinion. From my point of view, it could go either way. Again, you go back to the society and how things were. A lot of things that we know come from a male chauvinistic point of view. So because the man was the head or the leader and all these other things, which was really about ego, that's why some of these things are in place. Like, there's not every culture that believes in marriage does not exchange rings. So we feel like in Western society that if he don't propose with a ring, then it ain't no real proposal. Then he look at the size. Is it a diamond or is it this? Is it Cupid zirconian? Most of y'all don't know the difference between diamonds and Cupid zirconian. And the only reason why you think diamonds are as valuable as they are is because they told you all it is a freaking rock. Of course, it's hard to get out, all these things.
They
But
place the value on it.
and what happens is, it used to be you come and you give a dowry, meaning you pay for your spouse. Meaning, I'm gonna bring you some cows, I'm gonna bring you some hens.
Was it like to the
It's still do that in
or
China.
to the
In China,
They
it's
still
to
do
the
that.
family.
They
Yeah.
still do that today. Still today. And at some point in some cultures, when the ring or jewelry came in, that was a sign of possession. Meaning, if you had earrings or if you had a ring on, it means that you were owned or possessed by somebody, which was typically the man. Oftentimes, women did not have rights for some of the same rights once they got married. Meaning, even in America, in Western civilization, once a woman got married and took the husband's last name, she was almost giving up her rights to own land, own property. It all had to be done through the husband. She couldn't make decisions about her own medical situation issues. And you still have some laws today, like if you want to get your tubes tied and you're married, it used to be you had to go get your husband's permission first.
I kill him.
So a lot of things in our society are really off balance, but we want it that way so bad. But it really comes from a bad, negative place. You know, there were women who had to fight for rights once they got. I mean, women had to fight for their rights, period, just as being women. But as a married woman, they had to fight for their rights. Meaning, just because I'm married doesn't mean my husband has a say-so over my body. Doesn't mean he has a say-so over my life. Doesn't mean that I don't have certain rights or I can't be a human being just because I'm married. So we want things, but we don't understand the things that we're wanting just because this is what we've been taught. You know what I'm saying? And it goes with the man too.
Well, I agree with everything that you said.
Let me ask you though, because you know, he told me I better not.
I agree with everything you said, but get up. Get up, you're making a fool of yourself. Get up, come on, don't do that. Because I mean, for me, if you want to propose, we can have that conversation. Saying like, you don't have to get down on the knees. You just tell me, hey, I want to marry you. All right, let's get married. That's cool.
But he's so bad that if I'm driving and he's in the passenger seat and I do this, he says something.
See, it's certain things though.
I think we all do it. I'm just saying. I'm guilty too.
I mean, it's certain things. It's certain things. But I mean, I get it though. I mean, women are getting in their own, which they should.
So I'm gonna tell you, not even from the history piece, which you taught me, so I appreciate that piece. So I'm just gonna say from only my personal perspective, right? So generally, women are the emotional creatures. They're the ones that attach easier. They're the ones who, you know. So I almost feel like, well, I'm just saying, just from oftentimes from my experience, and I can only talk about my experience. Right? I have been more of the commitment one. So when you get to a point that if I'm already the one who kind of like commits the most, cultures the relationship the most, all that, I don't want to have to ask you, because then it's almost like I feel like, well, okay, I'm forcing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost want you to be ready to say, hey, I'm ready to spend the rest of my life with you. And again, that may just be my own little thing. But I don't want to have to now take that extra, like, okay, well, so let's get married. Because that kind of seems a little needy a little bit.
I think conversations lead up to that for me. That's how it always seemed. I don't know if I was the first to bring it up though. I can't remember if I was ever the first to bring it up. But we always talk about
conversations.
Yeah. So, what is marriage to you? How do you feel about it? Do you want to add this, and this? Or we even did the prenuptial agreement thing. Like, how do you feel about that? Or, what does that come with? How do you look at this or how do you look at that? And I think that all determines if you're a person that wants to get married, if you're going to marry that person, because do you guys see things the same way? Are you guys on the same page? How are you going to be able to move forward after, the marriage? What does that look like? So I think that really determines, like, if that person is going to get on, one knee and propose to me over there. Because if we ain't talking about it, don't do that. Do not propose to me.
So let's talk about why you wouldn't propose.
I'm not thinking on my knee.
But what if it's not on your knee?
Why are you talking about me?
It just seems like, no.
So if you don't have to get on your knee, would you be the one to say, hey, let's get married?
Sorry. Hold on. Okay, so on what the conversation is. Because if you like, I've been thinking about it, I'll be like, so what we gonna do tonight? I think I'm that.
But
kind
you
of
won't
person.
be the one to approach it. You won't be the one who says, "All right,
Let's just do
for
it."
this amount of time. I want to get married."
Most of the time, that's how the conversation goes. I told somebody, I'm having a conversation, I said, most of the time, the woman is proposing anything already. Because the conversation goes just like what you're saying. The woman comes up and say, or lets the man know that I'm ready to be married. Or they bring up the conversation about marriage. So in the man's mind, he already knows you're ready to be married because you've already said. So in a sense, you propose the idea of marriage.
So let me ask you though, since we've been talking about the knee, you would be okay with someone getting down on their knee?
They don't have to get down on me.
But what if they did?
It may make me uncomfortable just because
Of
of
how
how I grew up and how I was trained.
Mhm.
And with me, I've unlearned and relearned a lot of things. But like I said, there are some things that stick with me.
Well,
I'm
and the
not
reason I
saying-
ask because the post that is going around is not actually just a woman being the one who suggested marriage. It's the woman actually in public doing the grand scheme of it
I'll
all.
probably be, depending on where we are, I'll probably be okay with it. Because for one, if we are at a place where we are talking about marriage, we're a partner anyway. Like if I'm building with you, we are a team. Even before we get married, we already are, to me, one, possibly, if that's the direction we're going. So you getting down on a knee or doing whatever, all you're doing is just saying, hey, this is where we already at. I want to show you I appreciate you, and I want to be the one to say, hey, let's do this thing. And I'm cool with it. Because it doesn't have to be this egotistical thing. It don't have to be this combative men against women type shit. It's this, we are together. We are one. We are a unit. So you getting on your knee, that don't mean that you less of a woman, more of a woman. I'm less of a man, more of a nothing. It just means we finna move. You letting everybody know you ready to move, so let's move. You know
So
what
you
I'm saying?
finna get up or you get on your knee?
And I mean, in the heat of the moment, you gonna say
Hold on,
along with it.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I don't know, you may not.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you think
Listen, no, what if you're not ready? What if you wasn't ready and she sit up there and get on the knee?
I mean, that's just right.
What you gonna say?
yeah, that can go both ways.
You say no,
that could be the
That can go both ways.
You can even have the conversation and be ready today and then propose tomorrow if for whatever reason you're not ready tomorrow. So it's a gamble either way. So if I'm not ready, I just have to be honest. I believe in communication. I believe in being open. I believe in being honest. It doesn't always
I
go
think the
right.
first time I don't think I was ready for real.
I mean, I proposed to somebody before and they wasn't ready. It was like, I'm not saying no, but not right now. Like shit.
I was just
said,
like,
no. Like no thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna forgive you.
I don't know.
It was so much. I ain't gonna lie, it was so much stuff going through my head because, like you said, you have these conversations, and it's like, did you do X, Y, and Z when you did this before? Because X, Y, and Z is supposed to be done, and then we supposed to consider.
Well, because sometimes, we'll go through stuff.
And it wasn't done.
And we have our reasons for not wanting to, or whoever has their reasons for not wanting to. But because it's a good patch in the relationship, it may seem like, okay, we're ready. Not realizing that, no, we're at a good patch, but we still got a lot we're trying to get past before we hop into that type of commitment.
So there's a different type of commitment?
Yes, because there's a commitment that, yes, there is. I feel like before I'm willing to get married, I know we kind of had this conversation before. Before I'm ready, if I'm a marriage person, you may not necessarily be a marriage person, but if I'm a marriage person, before I'm going to sign the paper that says now I got to go through all this to divorce you, I want to know that there's a higher probability that I won't sign it. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? No, and I've already done it before. But there is a level of commitment that says, if I'm willing to take that step, yeah, I have to kind of know in my mind that this is my plan, or that I plan on this being it. Now, does that mean that it's going to be it? Not necessarily. If I don't take that step, does that mean that won't be the person I'm with for the rest of my life? No. But at the same time, for me to say I'm willing to marry you, I got to kind of have it in my mind that, this is an opportunity that I may be with this person for a very long time. And the reason I say commitment levels, if I'm not there, why would I even consider marriage? That's like in any commitment. You have we've been together for this amount of time, we barely know each other type of commitment, but we're still gonna just deal with each other because we're building, or we've been building for this amount of time. I feel like even in commitment, there's levels that you get to based on how much
I think there's a level of commitment. Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think marriage is necessarily a signifier of a difference in commitment. Because when I was on our show, I had mentioned there are guys who will propose to a woman with another woman's pussy on his breath. And another woman is saying yes to a proposal, and she just finished sucking off somebody.
And I agree.
And
so I can't talk about them.
No, I'm just saying.
I can only talk about
for you. Yeah,
right.
For you. So I'm just saying in general, the commitment isn't there just because now we're talking, and it can be.
Some side chicks pop out on that right there on Facebook.
Yeah, and it should be.
I mean, it's just proposed. They were just over here last night, and I went to school these days.
And that's why I said, and that depends on the person. Because if you have a thing like for me, there is a level. There's a level of here is a no, I'm not ready to say, but then this level is. But that's in general. I mean, you're gonna have some people, I don't care how great of a relationship they in, they just gonna do what they do. That's just what it is. I mean,
I just look at it, like I said, I just look at it across the board. You know, I'm not against marriage. People think I'm against marriage. And I'm not against marriage. I'm for people being for whatever they are for. Mm-hmm. Meaning, I don't like when people try to make marriage the end goal for everybody. Mm-hmm. I don't like it when people try to make marriage that ultimate, that's the last stop. Mm-hmm. Because I know people who are not married, who've been together 20, 25 years, and they're committed, they're dedicated, they're happy, they're very productive, and they don't care about marriage. They don't need marriage because for them, they are a unit, and they don't need the marriage as we know it. And then when I talk to people, again, it goes back to there's so many different types of marriages. Mm-hmm. There's so many different types of process before you get married and even while you're married. And for us over here in this Western civilization, we think marriage is this thing, but small thing here. And it's really not. We think relationships is this little box. And when I started talking to people from like around the world, there's different walks of life, different religions, different beliefs, you know, whether it's non-religious or religious, you know, I started to learn that marriage, the institution of it and the process ain't really what it's cracked up to be. It's about these two people deciding that they want to be a unit, however they choose to be a unit, mm-hmm. and operating in that. Now, I'm for people who say, I want to be married. Go ahead and do that. You know, be married, get married, and be married in your marriage, you know. But you don't have to have marriage to establish the fact that y'all are committed. Mm-hmm. Then people say, you know, there's the benefits that come when you're married. You know, if he die or she die, you know, well, shit, get a power of attorney. Do a prenup. Do a will. Because you can be married and your husband, your spouse can write a will and leave you out of it. And you don't give a shit. But you think marriage is protecting you, but they haven't wrote a will leaving the kids.
Well, and not even just the will. So, like you mentioned on one of the shows, in the event of who has to say so before you're there. So, if you're on your deathbed and they're trying to decide whether to pull the plug or then that deciding factor.
Power of attorney. You don't have to be married. I can write whoever I want as a power.
But that doesn't always work. I actually have a friend, and what you already know, well, her dude was in for cancer, and she was on his power of attorney. But because his mama and them were there, the hospital went with what they were saying.
Well, the hospital was wrong then, because if I decide that I want my decision maker to be this person,
because there's so many loopholes in the power of attorney. Like
it can be.
Like, yeah, because it's almost like you can be a power of attorney, but unless it outlines exactly what your power of attorney over.
I mean, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are ways to go about doing what you need to do without having to be married. If a person just don't believe in being married, what I'm saying? If I want to leave my estate with somebody, I can leave my estate with somebody. There are some things that's going to be a little more difficult, but even like if you are married, there are people who have issues and problems even when you are married when family come in, because they can still find, you know,
With
loopholes or whatever. You know?
Black Panther, I can't think of his name.
Oh, Chadwick, yeah, his wife. Such issues. Yeah.
I mean, I think it all goes down to just if you're happy, like
Whatever makes you happy, whether it's
happy.
married, whether it's not married, whether it's I mean, at the end of the day, a partnership is a partnership. You decide what you both communicate and decide what you want to do with that partnership. So whether it's you have people who want to be married, and people who don't, you have people who want to have polygamy. Like that. That's all I'm talking.
I didn't say that in the side chick topic. I was like, hey, if you want polygamy, just say it.
Right.
Everybody can have one big happy family.
And even that, it's not, there's different types of polymarriages. Polygamy is usually when you're married and then you have a whole nother marriage family somewhere else, which is illegal. But you have, I can't remember the different terms. So you have the polymarriage when the man has several wives or the woman has several husbands, or you have it to where all of them are married.
That's what's that one called?
To one another.
Where everybody's together.
I can't remember what that was called, but it's becoming more prominent now. Yeah. So the same thing with women proposing to men. The culture.
She said it's the second wife, the side chick. Only her.
And sometimes it might not be a second wife; it's just an extra girlfriend. Or
They
extra
do, because they be
boyfriend,
agreeing to them.
what
And I just feel like they be like a name.
All right, you guys, real quick.
When they be
Real quick, we're gonna take a break.
We still talking about
We're
marriage.
gonna take a break, and when we get back, we will finish this topic. We'll see you in just a moment.
Are you interested in being a guest on Talk Uncensored? Head over to talkuncensoredpodcast.com and fill out a guest application. We want to hear your story and involve you in our topics, unfiltered and uncensored.
How prepared are you to cover unexpected expenses in a hardship? 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 to spend on out-of-pocket expenses. When an unexpected hardship arises, normal everyday expenses can become hard to manage. During these times, you can count on Hardship Safeguard. Hardship Safeguard provides cash benefits to pay expenses in an unexpected hardship, business decline, or loss of wages. See how we can help protect your family and business.
Welcome back to Talk Uncensored, our camera person. So I had to do an abrupt break because we're actually starting to go overtime, which is a good show. It means it's a good show. We have good chemistry here, conversation. So of course, we got to get everybody back. Thank you again for tuning in to Talk Uncensored. Make sure you follow us at Talk Uncensored Podcast on Instagram, Talk Uncensored on Facebook and YouTube. Then our website, talkuncensoredpodcast.com. Again, this is
Gabriel Lyrics.
John Hogan.
Akayshia, Estee.
and I'm April Hogan, and we'll see you next time.